Do what you love and success will follow. Passion is the fuel behind a successful career. A very good morning, everybody. I, Ria Babbar, welcome you all to this session today. Internship is a division of India Energy Skills Development, IESD, Private Limited, and its mission is to create the new generation of professionals with a focus on both employability and deployability. Their aim is to bridge the gap between the academic knowledge gained in educational institutions and the required skills in the job industry. They inculcate professional skills by using their do learn philosophy to make our interns job ready. The promoters of internship and IESD have founded universities such as UPES, University of Petroleum and Energy Studies, ISP, Indian School of Petroleum and Energy, and UTM, University of Technology and Management Meghalaya, which have graduated more than 17,500 students from the industry and placed 15,000 students with over 500 energy and infrastructure companies. The promoters of IESD have spent over 3 decades with various MNCs in India and have provided consultancy services to government, regulators, energy companies, investment funds, technology providers, and startups. IESD recently has launched a hydrogen as a fuel program for working professionals, which received a high number of registrations and was received well in the energy and renewables industry. With its newest Space Explorer program, Internshape shares a similar mission with its parent company to bridge the gap between academia and job readiness and equip young Indians with the awareness and skills needed to seize the exciting career opportunities in the space industry. Their commitment to engaging the students to engaging with students live, providing practical and up-to-date space career guidance, and their network of subject matter experts, space industry professionals, and entrepreneurs are all unique propositions that differentiate them from the competition. We are joined today by Ms. Prerna Sharma, who is the Director of Content and Delivery at Internship, and Mr. Vinayak Kaul, Strategy and Business Development Manager at Internship. We at the Manthan School believe in holistic development and right choice for our students. Thus, this session has been organized for you all today. We all are eagerly waiting for an interesting and enlightening session. I now request Sir to kindly commence the session.
Thank you so much for the lovely introduction. Thank you to Riya ji. A big thank you to the Manthan School and all the parents joining us today. And a very warm welcome as well to the parents from DPS Sahibabad who have taken time out of your busy day today to join us for the session. Before we begin, I'm sure introductions are all done. Riya ji was very comprehensive in introducing us, so I'll just get right into it. Before we share anything about us or our program, we would like to ask you the same question that we've been asking to students everywhere that we've interacted with them, which is we asked them about different probabilities of careers that they could end up in. And we received a lot of interesting answers. So we'll ask you the same thing that we asked them. If you feel like interacting with us, letting us know, you're very welcome to share your inputs in the chat on this Zoom call. Otherwise, I'll be happy to share with you the answers that we received from students as we go along. We asked them things like, what are the chances of someone entering the IT industry, becoming a software engineer? And if anyone would like to share from the parents, you can answer in the chat. What is the percentage chance that your child would grow up to become a software engineer or programmer? And the answers on average that we received were, it's quite a high probability. There's a high chance. It's a booming industry. We similarly asked them, what are the chances of you entering the medical profession, becoming a doctor or a nurse or a physiotherapist or a pharmacist, a diagnostician? The answers were, not everyone will go into it, yet it's a relatively high probability. It remains a popular and stable career choice. So a good around 30–40% chance, they said, that at least someone will enter the medical field. We asked them, what are the chances one of you will enter education and become a teacher specifically? And here we received a resounding 70, 75, 80%. They were sure that it remains a popular choice, become a teacher. We also asked students, what are the chances that you will become a billionaire? This invited fewer, a little less certain responses from people. They said maybe the chances could be 1.5% or 2%. We asked them, what are the chances of you becoming a huge megastar, a celebrity, a well-known actor? They said it's minuscule, maybe 0.3%. And we also asked them finally, what are the chances you'll become a head of state, a prime minister or a president? And they said, I don't know, it's not very likely. 1 in a million people perhaps qualify to that level in their careers one day. In conclusion to all this and the questions that we ask students, and today we are asking you parents and teachers, what is the probability that one of us on this call will go to space? And the answers we received up till now were not very resounding. They weren't quite confident. They said maybe there's a very small chance. It's not for everyone. It's quite exclusive. The price is prohibitive. It's such a niche industry. However, we are here today to challenge that notion. And we say that if you think the chances that you will go to space are very low, we are here to share with you some very interesting facts and figures, which is, as of today, 1 in 10 people alive today will either live, travel, or work on Mars or similar other exoplanets, moons, satellites, or outer space in their lifetime. As of 2019, which is where the statistic is from, 1 million people were employed in the space sector around the world, and it is projected to increase to 4.5 million by 2030 or even sooner. The statistic of 1 million people. So when we say 1 million people were employed in the space sector around the world, 4.5% of this number was employed in India in 2019. That's a significant percentage. I can see a message from Shrestha Kaushik ji. Welcome to the session. We are talking about space programs and space as a viable career option for students today. Very welcome to the call. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them in the chat, or towards the end of the session, we'll have time for questions. So we were just sharing 4.5 people globally working in the space sector were employed in India. Almost all of them, 17,000 people, were employed in the public sector by ISRO, which is a government agency. Very recently, in 2020, privatization has been announced by the government of India, the Honorable Prime Minister, which means between 2020 and today, the number of private companies and startups in the space sector has grown from around 40 or 50 roughly till then to more than 500 today in less than 1.5 to 2 years. So it's a very exciting space since privatization was announced. If a student is in 9th standard today, then they'll be finishing their schooling, their graduation, and formally entering the workforce by 2030. That's when they'll be looking for graduate opportunities or full-time placements for the first time. So we want to paint a picture to all of you, parents and teachers and students today, that by the time they're looking for work, they're entering the workforce, this is what the scenario will be. This is the next industry which is about to enjoy a big boom. We have all seen headlines of billionaires launching their space ventures, traveling to space, private space flights. This is just the exciting headlines of an overall larger trend of privatization and advancement of the space sector. Also, we are excited about space because if you can make it in space, you can make it anywhere. It is an apex industry. It is very demanding. People have this image in their head that it's only for engineers or STEM students or scientific-minded technical people. But we are here to tell you today it's for everyone. There's going to be a very wide variety of jobs and domains that will exist in the space sector as we grow and our exploration missions expand. The need for different types of people with diverse ranges of talent will increase. And once you get into the space industry, because it's so life and death, the technical challenges are so demanding. In any capacity, if you enter the space industry, the demands on your skills and talent will be so high that you will become a super performer and be extremely employable in other earthly industries. This is just to expand on a little bit, as we were saying, we talk to students. So we are talking to parents and teachers today. Before this, our main interest is to talk to students. So when we talk to students, we ask them, never mind space, never mind what we are saying. Tell us what your interests, your hobbies, and passions are. And we get a lot of different answers. Obviously, everyone is different. Someone is into writing, someone wants to become a programmer, someone wants to become a social media influencer, someone wants to become an athlete, someone wants to become a fashion designer. And we love all those answers. We are simply here to say, imagine your dream job or your ambition in the context of the growing space industry. So all of the jobs that you see here on the screen today are either currently open positions being advertised by companies like Skyroot or NASA or SpaceX or Blue Origin, Virgin Galactic, or other upcoming jobs which are projected to exist in just the next 2, 3, 4 years, very near future. So it is not just mission control people or NASA scientists or astronauts or engineers anymore. Space is for everyone. That's the point we are trying to make. And if you want to be ready for this industry, because it will be ready for you by the time they enter the workforce in 2030, if you want to be ready for this industry, then you need a program like the one we are going to talk about today, which I'll hand over now to my colleague Prerna ji to talk about Internship Space Explorer program for students. So over to you, Prerna ji.
Thank you so much, Vinayak. I think it's pretty much clear with the picture, with the stats, that the next big industry is the space industry. We have seen industrial revolution, we have seen the information age, we've seen how these industries boom, and now the requirement or the next big thing is the space industry. But unfortunately, in our regular school program or college program either, we do not have any know-how, anything touching the space industry whatsoever. So that's where we are partnering, we Internshape are partnering with the space organizations to bring in a space explorer program exclusively for school students. And to make it realistic, we're going ahead in schools to make it a live session in their school. So we've seen a lot of online programs. Definitely, we are backed by technology. There is live program which is going online as well. But we're taking the next step to bring it to your school, in your school premises. So what exactly is this course all about? This is, as I said, a premier space program in association with space bodies of the country. And we have accreditations already in place with international associations. Then it is going to be including 10 live sessions. When I say live sessions, these are going to be mentors, coaches coming to the students, taking care of what exactly is the space industry all about, which are the various streams that they can pick up, which are the various job roles that they can pick up of this industry. We have a very structured curriculum. This is again all made in conjunction with space industry professionals and enthusiasts who are already there experiencing it firsthand. They are bringing their live experience for the students through interactive activities, through highly engaging content. This is definitely run through a technology-driven platform, but there is definitely a physical touch when we come to the school to deliver the sessions. This is going to be a certified program. We are already a member of ASI, and we are already in talks with ISRO for collaborations for even visit at ISRO centers. Coming to International Space Association, I will be showing you, we have mentors who are associated and affiliated from international organizations who will be firsthand delivering their experiences and what exactly different domains of space industry has. All this at a very nominal cost of 5,999 per student. Now, why a student should pick up this? We know, we've heard about the space industry and its importance already. For a student to pick up this particular program, it will give them one, very critical thinking, very much of practical knowledge, and opening their arms towards the space industry. They're going to get uncut experiences from the professionals of space. And I'm not talking about only astronauts, people talking about astronomy, or a space scientists who are talking about their journey, how they became scientists and are working on ground stations. I am working on all offbeat careers as well, which a commerce student, which a humanities students can pick up. We are covering all possible case studies. We are making these students meet up people who actually share their relevant experiences. What was a journey of a person from school to college to university and then probably to a space industry, and how exactly a student can also take that journey ahead. So right now, if a potential student is in class 9 and is not really focusing on, maybe I am not sure whether I go for science or commerce, we are not really asking them to choose right now. We're giving them these options. What if you take science? Which college is waiting for you to take a course in space industry? Which university can give you the relevant skills of the space industry? And then which organization is waiting for you to take up a job profile? What kind of job profile and what exactly is going to be your experience in that job profile? All that in clear career oriented manner. But this is not a career counseling only. As we said, these are live interactive sessions. They actually get to explore what is it when you take up that job. It's like a mini engineering done within these sessions, just to take a taster of what exactly is going to be when I join as an engineering student, or if I take up the role of a project manager, or if I take up the role of a scientist, or if I take up a role of a graphic designer, photographer. What exactly is going to be there into my future?
Thank you so much for sharing a little bit about the values provided to students, Prerna ji. Just to build a little bit on that, every session that we are designing for the live sessions in schools, all the modules that we want to cover in our 10-week syllabus plan for this program, which will come up later in the slides. When we design each and every session on every topic, the thing we have in mind is our mission is we don't want to bore anyone. We don't want to do gyan, because we are young people ourselves. We understand that you have a certain attention span and certain things can get technical and heavy in space. If someone is conducting a 50-minute, 60-minute session with students, our entire course is designed to be highly interactive and engaging with activities, question and answers, someone coming in on VC, who's an ex-ISRO scientist, or who has a particular knowledge and expertise in the domain that we are covering that day. We want to make sure that it's never more than 2 minutes or 3 minutes of standing in one place and speaking at students. So we'll have a wide range of relevant activities, props, demonstrations, and interactions with students throughout this program that differentiates us from other workshops or online courses where you sit in front of a screen and you give a quiz or you just download information. This is really the next level of getting someone excited about the space industry and making sure that they're taking the first steps towards a career in that direction. What you see further here on the screen is part of our value proposition to students. We covered earlier a slide where we showed you all the different currently open jobs and future jobs, how interesting they are in the space industry. And given that any student who's part of the Space Explorer program approaches their coach or approaches us and says, hey, listen, this is all well and fine, but I really like cars and automobile engineering. That's what I wanted to do, but now you've got me interested in space. What do I do now? I still have those passions and interests. I have sort of like these workshops I've done in the past. How can I take this to space? We will give them pathways and foundational steps towards achieving that goal and connect them with the right people, perhaps experts who've had similar journeys. So one of the people that we'll talk about later in today's session, I'll read you his profile. He's a brilliant young man called Chesler Thomas. He tells us with the same enthusiasm about aerodynamics and propulsion and different technologies that would excite a young child who's interested about sports cars and automobile engineering. And so being able to link students' interests through resources like the Excel that you see on screen, telling them about universities and colleges, summer internships, facilitating visits and memberships to some of the associations and organizations that we'll mention in a later slide is part very much of our value proposition in the Space Explorer program. So as I mentioned, brilliant opportunity to now mention our leadership, some of our senior leadership on this program as well. These are just two very interesting and very different people that we wanted to highlight. Obviously, we can't talk about everyone without taking too much time today. But I mentioned Chesler, and I want to share his profile with you. He is a research and development and business development analyst at a company. It's a startup, but it's well established now, 3-4 years. It's in India called Skyroot Aerospace. They are at the forefront. They are a private company doing very exciting things in propulsion technology. Chesler has co-authored more than 10 research papers in the space sector. And he's our age, he's in his 20s. He has won the best space mission in 2011 during his training in this US Space and Rockets Research Center at Huntsville, Alabama. He also, very interestingly, co-discovered a provisional asteroid out of 17 total worldwide discoveries at the Pan-STARRS IASC 2017 conference. Chesler is the only part of the only Indian team to discover a provisional asteroid. So that's a huge achievement. So just like your children and students, he was very curious about space, and he started studying about it in school when he was just 11 years of age. The difference is he had to find his path for himself and see how he could make a space for himself in the space industry. So he recognizes the value of a program like this and says that if a child is passionate and interested in the space industry, this is the value that a Space Explorer program can provide. Secondly, we have Dr. Ugur Guen. We are honored to have him as one of the mission commanders of our program. He is an aerospace engineer and a nuclear engineer, highly qualified. He is currently working as the senior professor of aerospace engineering and currently conducting research related to interstellar travel and the utilization of nuclear energy for space missions and space habitats. So we really think who can be better than people like this, someone young like Chesler who's making his own journey and getting achievement after achievement, and someone like Dr. Ugur Guen, who has more than 25 years of experience and more than 250 academic publications to guide young minds, young students about career prospects and literally the limitless opportunities that are going to come up in space. So they are not limited to the achievements that I just shared today, but many more. And we are blessed to have them as two of the mission commanders. We call them mission commanders for Internship Space Explorer program. We are also blessed to have many more domain specific experts who come in and offer guest talks, storytelling sessions, Q&A sessions when we do the live sessions. This is in addition to the memberships and associations that we mentioned. So the organizations that we are currently associated with, as well as are pursuing associations and affiliations with officially, these will provide a wide range of opportunities to students who are enrolled in the Space Explorer program to see what further things they can do. A lot of them are free or at very nominal cost memberships. Some of them will not be mandatory that if you're doing our program, you have to buy their membership as well. It is suggested to gain additional value that will connect you to these wonderful international organizations that host conferences and events. We'll get you access to them as students where usually you would not get access, which are only for conferences with space industry people, government organization people. They're quite exclusive. But this is again part of our value to be able to organize visits and get you memberships and exclusive access. A very pertinent example of this right now, because we are sitting in May 2022, which I think is worth sharing, is I don't know if any of you parents would have heard about ISRO's Yuvika program, which was launched in 2019. It's very interesting. It is very selective and competitive, but it takes 9th class students from across India, gives them an opportunity to compete. They have to send a lot of achievements and awards, and they have to compete with a quiz. And 150 students from across India are shortlisted, and they are taken to Sri Harikota ISRO facility for site visits, for lab demonstrations, for expert talks. So it's a once in a lifetime experience. They go there, they stay there, and that's true immersion. But it's very exclusive. It's only 150 students. It's very competitive. It's aimed at disadvantaged communities, rural areas, girl students. It's the government's initiative, but we share that mission with them. We also believe in outreach, engaging young minds, getting them interested about space. So we are partnering up, we are pursuing a partnership with ISRO and saying, help us parallelly along with your Yuvika program. That's your 150 students. We won't interfere in that. But give us access to the same facilities and talks and lab visits so that we can reach more students. We can reach, Manthan School students or DPS school students and give them the opportunity that very few young Indians qualify for. We've just also included, we mentioned that we are technology assisted, and we'd just like to give you a quick glimpse of our online platform. So all of the things that we mention here, that we give live sessions, all of the content is also on our web platform. And a student can very much log on, have same access and remote capabilities as well. So this is just a brief glimpse into our Nourish LMS learning management system platform, which is not, we aim to give the maximum value through live sessions, but if someone wishes to enroll remotely as well, the entire program will be online as well. You can see the brochure, the session content, it's all visible online. An online learning management system gives similar engagement values as well to what we'll offer live. It will still have interesting virtual coded activities. It will have quizzes, it will have MCQs, it will have opportunities to view the recorded kind of one-off visits or online Q&As or storytelling sessions that we've had from ISRO experts. And it's just a way to bridge the gap. So you have one session this week, one session next week. What do you do for your self-learning and growth in the interim period? And how do you follow up on what you have learned? How do you know more? So this was just a brief glimpse at our learning management system. It goes on, and I think I'll move ahead to our session plan. Prerna ji, would you like to share a little bit of light on our session plans and what we cover for the students?
Sure. So when we say we're talking about space, and we're not really talking about only the astronauts and scientists in space, and then what exactly are we going to offer? So when we say we have a structured curriculum, this is how we have broken down all the 10 sessions for the students. Of course, they need to know the overview of the industry first. What is this space industry? Where is it? From where it has emerged? All the history behind, and what are the technological advancements so far? What exactly is the future holding for them? So that covers the first session when they actually take the first step in space. Secondly, we go with startups and companies. Why are we asking you to now take one step ahead towards this industry? Why is this industry lucrative right now, or taking a boom absolutely in the next 10 years? Then we go ahead with particular niches. This is for all streams in particular. When we say product development, it's for science students. Again, it's for generically to know, even somebody who's writing about the space industry, who's taking up pictures about the space industry, needs to know about the products there, needs to know how exactly a space rocket is created, what are the different components there, how has the technology emerged in there. Then we talk about the business in space. Of course, with 100 unicorns in India, the big news now, business and entrepreneurs are being really, really promoted in India. The vision of our Prime Minister to have the next 1,000 or maybe beyond that unicorns is absolutely not just a dream. People who are there on this call, we don't know who's going to be the next unicorn. And why not take that step ahead? So how exactly are these startups starting in India? What exactly goes behind creating entrepreneurs in the space industry? And how are the people right now taking up the challenge? How are they supporting the government organizations? How are they working hand in hand with the government organizations is what we cover in this session. Space laws, very, very inquisitive topic, very much neglected, but has been drastically worked upon. We don't have, there was a recent case that we read where there is no space law in which it says how are the astronauts are supposed to be treated in space. What really happens when they are in the spaceship up there what exactly should be the protocols followed. This is such an interesting field, but really, really needs to be worked on, and how the students can take that step ahead. Totally creative, totally innovate.
At any
Medicine and
given
space.
time when this just reminded me, you were mentioning at the International Space Station, if there is a crew of 4 or 5 or 6 people, there is one commander, mission commander at the space shuttle, who is not the dictator or ruler in charge, but governs all the maintenance and operations of the International Space Station. So what happens, what is the legal procedure if someone refuses to give up their commandership to the next person who's scheduled to take over? What if the Russian doesn't agree with the American, who doesn't agree with the Chinese taikonaut who's over there? So a lot of interesting scope for legislations in outer space.
Yes, true. Moving ahead, we have medicine. This is specifically for biology students. Farming, space farming is taking so much plunge these days. How exactly, in such a controlled environment, plants can be actually taken up to space, to Mars maybe, and what kind of technology advancements are needed there. Then we have again, not just farming, but medicine for the astronauts. What exactly should be their training regime? What exactly should be their health reporting? All that is covered in the medicine segment.
There are
Then,
brilliant new headlines coming every day because cellular biology and the effects of drugs, medicines, and the human immune system works very differently in space. Plants grow very differently in space. The dynamics of agriculture, very rightly mentioned, will be very different whenever we make a colony, whenever we colonize an asteroid or a planet. So yeah, the experiments that are happening right now, and the knowledge and research and know-how needed in the coming years for everything related to space biotech as a collective term is very exciting.
we have an interesting news today as well, how sound vibrations can actually heal cancer. These are all technological advancement happening in space, which probably is something that the students have to actually pay attention to. We don't need to be just the doctors, just the physicians or gynecologists or the regular mainstream jobs there in the biology side, but you really have a lot of scope in this particular domain as well. Moving on, we have very interesting segment, the students who want to take up interiors, who want to take up architecture. Why just design a house? Why just design somebody's office? Why, when you can design space stations? How exactly, when we started exploring the program, there was a very, very interesting video which actually we cover in the program also. We see that a vehicle is constructed, and then a vehicle is transported from one place to another. It's not really, not really is sold from the facility where it is sold. But this doesn't happen in space industry. The facility is actually created around the rocket, and then facility is moved away. The rocket stays there. How interesting it is for an architect to actually work on a big 10-story or 20-story building being created and then move from that place. These are some interesting case studies that actually come for the architecture students. Then we have amazing stories of space and time coming in, live experiences from the engineers, scientists, people who are working in space industry right now, people who are asking for people to join, the fresh talent to join the space industry. We have CEOs, we have directors, all talking about how new programs are coming in the space industry.
Prerna ji,
Now
one of the
comes,
barriers, sorry, I was just mentioning one of the barriers for a young person to enter any new industry of their choice is the jargon, the acronyms, the technical know-how. Sort of someone who's talking to you can tell whether you know an overview about the industry or not. So doing courses like this and covering this is important, is that you come in strong with the confidence and knowledge of, I know the history, past, present, and future of trends, what it was like, what our journey has been like, what research, development, technology progress has been like, what are the future projected milestones, what are we working towards, what is humanity's next step. So if a student goes armed with that knowledge, I don't think anyone can claim you don't know what you're talking about, or come in with a deep appreciation and understanding of space.
Absolutely. I think this is where Stuti has asked the question, which stream should I pick up in 11th for being a space scientist? Shruti, we are not asking you to pick up a stream because you want to be a space scientist. We're asking you, you already picked up a stream. That's totally okay. Now come and explore with us in your stream. What are your possibilities, your opportunities in space? Nobody has to go in only science stream to be a space scientist. You can be very well a commerce student. You can be very well a humanities student to be there in the space sector. There is no compulsion, there is no prohibition that only a space enthusiast or somebody who wants to work in the space industry has to be from the science stream. I think that answers your question. Okay, great, Stuti. Awesome. So we'll be definitely looking forward to Stuti or all of the students out here to join the program. Take one step ahead. Actually get your vision clear on where exactly could be your landing in space. And not just a career counseling session, but exactly know when we say, come and explore the industry with us, come and explore the different domains with us, you will get to meet people from the industry talking about their experiences. You will get to know the jargons used in this particular industry. You will get to know what exactly is the trajectory that you need to take to actually reach that end goal. All this, as I said, at a very nominal price. The school, and this is within your school premises. We have the school supporting us. Thank you so much, ma'am. We have Ria ma'am there facilitating the course. We have Shanu ma'am here, who's been supporting us since the very beginning. We will definitely be very, very overwhelmed to actually commence the program in the school premises. Make sure this actually creates value and opens more avenues for the students for their career ahead.
Ma'am, I would like, yeah.
I just wanted to add one
Sir,
quick thing, ma'am, before handing over.
Yeah.
A very important thing to say for in terms of next steps, or to all the students who are interested, parents who are interested in, getting to know more, pursuing something in space, or if you're interested in the Space Explorer program, anything that will be done or planned further in the school will be based on your interest, the interest of the students and the parents, which is why we are here for the web event today. So please do get in touch with us to know more. Please feel free to inquire with us via phone, via email, send us a WhatsApp. If you'd like to know more, inquire with the school. The school has all the materials from us to be able to send to you as well, and they will connect you directly with us. Only based on the interest of parents and registrations will we be able to coordinate a proper start for the program and a timeline and get back to you. We will do it on aapke balboote pe. We can't force people to do it, nor can we do it without student registrations. So feel free to know more for any queries. And of course, we've kept time in today's session for question and answers as well. And I'll just hand over now. Sorry for interrupting, ma'am. You were saying something.
Yeah, sir. So are we done with all the questions?
We like to open for questions, and we'll just check our chat again and address any that we may have
one
left.
question from we have one question from Vanya. Can a 6th student understand this course? Yes, definitely. A 6th class student can understand the course. We wanted to pilot it in the Manthan School or the DPS school with 9 to 12 graders, but we'll be definitely open to take up 6th grade students, 7th, 8th grade students as well. We have, I think, another question from Abhijay. What if I want to take up automobile designing? Definitely, product development is the right session that might interest you. The coach Chesler is from propulsion designing, from the production team itself. He'll be able to give you very valuable information about automobile designing, and then basically from this industry, as we said, it's an APEC industry. you don't just need to limit yourself. If you are able to crack it through this industry to make a rocket, imagine Ferrari or even a Maruti car is nothing for you, right?
Exactly. I love that Prerna ji has mentioned this. I wanted to point this out to Abhijay, who's asked this question. Imagine if you pursue a career as you would, you do your studies and you pursue a career in becoming an automobile engineer, and you end up working for Volkswagen or for Suzuki or for Toyota or whoever. That is one thing. That's one path you can go down. Your job description will be such and such. You're an automobile engineer, designer. You can be the best of the best. Imagine if your job title says you're the guy who designed the latest rover for Mars. You designed tires that work on Martian soil. You designed a vehicle which has a life support system. How much cooler is that to have on your CV, on your job description? And what are the steps you can take to learn about those different demanding environments and conditions? How vehicles are developed for space missions? What if your job description says you worked on a rocket ship on a private Virgin Galactic flight? I think that's a much cooler thing to have on your CV.
True. We have another question coming from Armit. I want to become an astrophysicist. Absolutely, all covered in the program. We are talking all about offbeat careers. We're talking about astrobiologists, astrochemists, astrophysicists, everything covered in the program. Please do join us, not to just know, yes, we are doing it, but what we are doing in the program with the relevant coaches, the people from the industry. We will definitely get to meet our mentors who have already worked in this particular domain. Sir means it's like a survey that if more people will be interested, then only we'll be learning further about the topic. So Stuti, as we said, the program is live online. You can definitely enroll, but I would say please benefit and have the sessions in your school so that not just you, but all your friends benefit collectively, collaboratively within the school premises. So that's where we have come in to make sure, one, it comes at a cost-effective price. On website, it's at 11,000. For only the school students of Manthan and DPS school, it is for 5,999. And that's how you get the access to the whole curriculum, whole course within your school premises. And yes, of course, there'll be, as per the requirement or as per the registration, we'll be able to start the program within the school.
I'd like to answer Mishka's question, which is very interesting. So Mishka, you had asked how to get into NASA. And one of the stories that our experts will be sharing during the sessions is how NASA's outreach programs work and how they facilitate trips to the Huntsville, Alabama facility of NASA and their space camp for young people, where you get to experience things like gyroscopic movement and zero gravity movement, or underwater training of astronauts, or dry desert training of astronauts. So with things like this and being involved at an early age, networking with people there, not only does Internshape tell you about space specific things, of course, we have the Space Explorer program, but as an organization, our mission is to also train you in soft skills and developing into a professional. So things such as soft skills, networking, finding opportunities, strengthening your profile, that is also an added benefit or value of being enrolled in a course with us. So yeah, I think a program like this is the way to go. It's a good foundational thing to see if your end goal is to be a prominent figure in one of these organizations, or rather I should say these are, government organizations now. Our eye should be on the prize. It should be towards the booming world of startups and private companies that are doing things in space. Maybe something to consider. We'll educate students more about it in the program. But yeah, that's how you end up. If you take, these are the first steps you take to maybe end up at NASA or ISRO. I can see someone has asked a question about ISRO as well.
Absolutely. I think we should be, just to mention here, ASI is coming up with programs, ISRO is coming up with programs where the facility visits for their centers will be accessible to the students of their country. So when you aim to visit NASA, I think we should be very proud in visiting ISRO centers, right? We have so amazing accomplishments of our own scientists, our own space stations here. So we will definitely be making sure, we're already in talks with the relevant team to make sure this is, I mean, the Yuvika program does it only for 150 students across the country. we are definitely pitching in. We are already in talks. One level of conversation has already happened. We're trying to make sure this physical visit to ISRO centers and the access to their knowledge base comes to the students. So we are keeping our fingers crossed. Can't commit right now, but definitely that's going to be one big thing that we're going to be delivering.
Yes, go India. India is one of the six countries with full launch capabilities in the whole world. We are the leaders in when it comes to space exploration and research. Someone had also asked, I don't know how much time we'll have for the chat questions today, just to leave it out there that this is why on the screen, if you can see our email or our LinkedIn, our website, those are exceptionally good ways to get in touch with us one-on-one, to know more about the program, more about whatever you want to know. There's a limited number of questions we could be able to answer today on the chat, especially things about specific college courses, streams, studies, organizations. One or two questions we can answer. Will it be live online course or physical? So it is intended to be live sessions in schools. If we have sufficient number of registrations for a batch in the Manthan School or in DPS, we will be doing our program there. Someone else has asked, will this be in the summer vacation in school premises? All of this honestly depends on the interest from parents and students today, and that will determine the next steps and planning we do with the school. So we have not fixed the dates yet with the school saying we'll do all 10 sessions during summer holidays or in July or now or when. But we are going to be in those talks very soon, depending on the interest of parents. And we'll be in touch and we'll be able to provide that information very shortly about how we'll be doing. But yes, it's very much a live session course in person with activities, with demonstrations, face to face. And we don't want students to sit in front of screens for 2 hours again. We've just had 2 years of that.
To be very precise, whether it's online or physical. So one, we have a live session within the school premises. Two, we definitely have aided study, which is online available. So the student can actually pick it up at their ease. It's going to be maximum 3 hours of reading per week. Reading, watching videos, interactive quizzes and exercises, that will be only span of 3 hours per week. So that will be something that will aid you to actually know more of what are the topics that we're talking in the live sessions.
Any further questions on chat?
How much pressure is in space? How much pressure is in, is that you at Vasundhara at school? Really too much? So the only
Space is a vacuum
pressure
outside of our atmosphere.
Yeah, no pressure there.
But a very interesting story to quickly share here, because Vasundhara has asked a very interesting questions. So the way we understand zero gravity is quite interesting. It'll blow your mind once you actually understand what it is. You don't float around in nothing in space, even though it's a vacuum. So if you ever seen footage of astronauts on the International Space Station, they seem to be floating and weightless, but that's not because it's a vacuum and you float. It's because the space station is moving at an incredible speed in orbit around the Earth, and they are free falling. They're not free floating. So imagine if you're in a lift, God forbid, if you're in a lift and it suddenly goes up or down at a very high speed, you'll be free falling for a few seconds. And that's how parabolic flights work commercially on Earth as well, which make you experience zero G. So that's interesting. It blows your mind that they're not floating, they're actually constantly falling, because the space shuttle moves at excess of 17,000 miles per hour all the time. They see a sunrise and a sunset. They see a sunrise every 90 minutes instead of 24 hours. So it's a beautiful, miraculous, strange space out there in space. And there is a vacuum, there is no pressure as such. And the speeds are so high that it poses a challenge for space debris as well. So if things are moving around at 17,000 miles per hour, that's quite a lot, to 20 plus thousand kilometers per hour constantly in space. If even something the size of a speck of dust hits you, the impact is catastrophic. So how to prevent against that, how to plan for space debris and collisions? I can go on and on, but the fact is, yeah.
Don't worry, we're not creating pressure here to be to be the astronaut and feel that pressure, but definitely there is no pressure here. Okay, we have one more question. It's gonna be on the website. Yes, we have our own Mishika, we have our own learning management system where all the information to read and view will be accessible once you enroll into the course. You get your own login ID and password to actually go ahead and have access to that information, not just while the program is running, but even after that.
Shomik has asked which college to go to. Shomik, there's a lot of colleges and universities now, an increasing number of colleges and universities offering recognized courses in space exploration and space technology. One of the institutes we are partnering with, Internshape, is seeking a partnership with ISU, which is International Space University. We are in talks with them. And this is just one of the partners. We'll have many. We'll aim to connect you with as many relevant universities and colleges if you're part of the program, to give you the next steps. If you're part of our Space Explorer program, it all depends on your interest or which field within space you want to go to, because there are so many domains. There is space law, there is space biotech.
We want to break the myth here, Shomik, especially the myth that you don't need to pursue any space sciences course specifically to go in the space industry. You're a software engineer from any college, you can be there in the space industry. You're an automobile engineer from any college, India or abroad, you can be there in the space industry. You don't need to pursue any specialized course at your graduation level. Whether we talk about ISU or any organization, you don't need to pursue that particular space astronaut. Basically, there are only 2 courses available in space, but you don't need to actually go ahead to that. You can be a very simple software engineer, still land up in the space industry.
It's all about knowing about the industry, having the connects, knowing the organizations and is associations, NGOs, awareness, sort of outreach organizations to do with space, the conferences and events that happen, who is who, what are the missions and goals of each country, each space agency, each company, what are the private companies operating in that domain that you're interested in. So that is where a program like ours helps to give you that foundational knowledge, that you do a normal course. As Prerna ji mentioned, you do the course that you would do anyway in your undergraduate degree. You do it from home, you do it from abroad, you do it from wherever. You already know about the space industry and how to now get an entry, where to go. So that is where it helps.
The website link is already on the screen, Mishika. You may connect with our executives on the email or on the phone directly. I think we rounded up all the questions.
We would urge everyone on the session today to also please feel free to get in touch with your respective schools. If you're students, please get in touch with your parents, your teachers, other students whom you think may be interested. Please bring it to the notice of your school that you would like us to visit your school, perhaps for a demonstration or for planning our sessions. If you're parents, please again feel free to inquire with your school. We are in talks with Manthan, we are in talks with DPS. It's all a matter of seeing, the interest, the batches, and the schools will be happy to connect you with us as well if you have any further questions. Otherwise, we are directly available on the contact information shared on the screen.
Are we done with all the questions, sir?
Yes.
Okay. So, sir, on behalf of the Manthan School, I would like to thank you for such an informative and insightful workshop. And certainly your words of wisdom today have enlightened and educated us about such a beautiful, amazing, a very different field today. And I'm sure that all of us at the Manthan School are now aware about the space internship program with much detail. I wish our students all the very best in making the right choice and follow the path to success. I would like to thank the school management for organizing this engaging workshop for us. And last but not the least, I would like to thank everybody for their presence and participation. Thank you, everyone.